Oh, you know, it's quite chilly today, but sometimes the greatest fear we have is the fear that's up here. And that fear compounds itself. If you're afraid of, let's say, a tiger chasing you, I know it's hard to be chased by a tiger in the high Arctic, unless it's the high Arctic tiger, which has gone extinct, but they missed one, but one survived. But maybe a polar bear in the high Arctic is a better analogy. Well, if your polar bear sees you in the high Arctic, just pretend you're a seal. No, that's a bad idea. Uh, but if you're afraid of something that's real, that you can see, feel, and touch, except for a polar bear, you wouldn't want to touch that, no. But you can do something about it. The fear that's up here is the most dangerous fear of all. That's no joke. You could be afraid of freezing to death in the darkness, in the cold. But if you dress properly, and, and if you have your polar bear hide on, and you've got your hunting skills, you can combat that fear. But something you're terrified of, and it compounded, was, oh, that's tickling my nose. That's not nice. Something you were afraid of, actually terrified of, and then it compounded and built in your head to a point where it went out of control. Was, look at that snowland, eh? You know, and you've got the snowy wind in the background. It's a good thing that they're made out of high Arctic fleece. No, but okay. Back to the topic. Was I do too much joking around? Okay, the one thing I know you were terrified of the most was having to repeat. Um, and this compounded with any other issues you may have had and still have, but it compounded everything. I'm using that word. I like that word right now, compound, because it builds and builds and cascades into like a blizzard when it's only a few flakes falling from the sky. But you were afraid, terrified of having to repeat. And you you felt you couldn't do anything about it. This started at that technical school. Well, it may have started when you first heard about it, that here you can repeat. Uh, uh, so you were afraid of failing the year. I remember when you were in Alexilladora, Alexilladora of Notre Dame, you had mentioned something about that, but that was a while ago, eh? You know, and I didn't really put anything into it, but you were afraid of failing one class and having to repeat the year. And then it really compounded when you went to that technical school, which was probably the worst thing that ever happened to you. No, not the worst thing that ever happened to you, but as for schooling wise, it was the worst thing that ever happened to you. And you saw, well, from what you told me, there were students there that were repeating their third time in, like, I'll just call it grade 10. And then there's nothing, and you couldn't do anything about it. You were just terrified. And you couldn't take your fear anywhere. And of course, now when you went to this school and you started to develop other issues, that initial fear affected everything else. It built upon, there's a word called metastasized into, it's a medical term, eh? Yeah. It metastasized into other areas, other fears, and any other issue you may have had from about anything. And it just crashed you. It made you unable to think even. Then I think I'm thinking on the spot, eh? I haven't written this down or anything, so that's why I sound like a dummy, eh? Okay, I may be a dummy, but at least I'm ready for the high Arctic winds. Actually, I'd freeze to death in the high Arctic if I was wearing this, but not in the house. But anyhow, remember one day you said, I'm going to fail the year anyways. I'm going to fail the year anyways. You had come to that conclusion. And Mommy kept saying, no, you're not, because I'm going to get the stuff. And you didn't believe her. I don't blame you because, she's, hasn't really come through a few times in that aspect because of timing, and sometimes her fault, sometimes not her fault. But sometimes she goes and there's nobody there to get anything from, so can't blame her for that, eh? And and sometimes she trusted the information she got initially. Initially, she trusted the information she got, and it was sort of, you never can do that. You need stuff in writing when it's that serious. So, and you became comfortable in your little cave, and that started to become bad. And then you became comfortable and even accepted, and you've accepted the fact that you're going to repeat the year anyways because you've missed too many days. And then Mommy said no, and then she said she was going to get the papers, and then now you have some papers from school. And it's going to be okay. I even came to the conclusion, well, you know what? I don't care if you had to repeat the year, as long as you're all right up here. Rhymes. as long as you're healthy, mind, body, and soul, as they say. Who are they, anyways? But mind, body, and soul. You need to be healthy in all aspects of. You need a balance, because when you don't have a balance in the tip, it's not like you're in space. If you put something heavy here and you're in space, it's not going to tip. It's just going to stay where it is. But here in any gravity situation, you've got a big ball, a heavy ball there. It's going to start tipping slowly, 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 and then goes down. I even started to come to that conclusion, but I didn't care. I just want you healthy and happy. Happiness is the number one thing in life. And when you're happy, I'm happy. It may be sound selfish, but it's true. If you're not happy, I'm miserable. Miserable. I feel like taking my scarf and coat off and walking out into the freezing Arctic wind there, and just in a few minutes you're going to die of hypothermia. But yeah, I don't get that bad. No, it's not cold enough here for that to happen. So it would be a long, long freezing time, and it just wouldn't be fun. But it would be like stepping out on Pluto, eh? So you take your suit off and step out of Pluto and freeze almost instantaneously. I don't know if you'd explode. What would you freeze faster or explode first? Oh, that's in the vacuum of space. Pluto has an atmosphere. Pursue your interests. Like, I'm interested in Pluto. I remember when they sent the Voyagers out. I thought, that's the dumbest thing, Why don't they just send a probe to each planet and just have it sit on the planet recording information the whole time, or orbiting in the case of planets you can't land on. And that would be the best at collecting information. But it's kind of cool that Voyagers are out of the solar system now. Yeah, I love them. They're so cute. And especially knowing that they'll still be here. They'll still be out there, flying out there billions of years from now, if they haven't been hit by an asteroid or but their chances are pretty good. How I got into that, I don't know. My mind wanders. But the wind there, the freezing cold Arctic winds, your mind tends to wander a bit. So focus on what you like, and work hard and work hardest on that. But you gotta also work really hard on what you don't like. That's how you get ahead. And listen to your father, even though you think he's nuts. Okay, he is nuts, but listen to him anyway. He's got some smart ideas. Learning from the other side. Oh, my hand's freezing. Oh. Goodbye for now. Until the next video. There's one guy out there. I watch his videos. He does videos on uh, European politics normally, and I love the way he ends his videos. He says, "New video every few days." I can't say it like he does. It's really cool, and it's because a lot of people like to have a video every Wednesday or every 2 times a week and stuff like that. He just comes out with them and says that. That's kind of cool. Okay. I can't stand this anymore. Oh, God.